Zoe Saldana plays an iconic character in the Guardians of the Galaxy, as well as Infinity War and Avengers 4 Endgame. This character is, Gamora, the daughter of Thanos, a title that sounds badass on its own. But what may not be badass are the cons that Zoe Saldana has listed in the First Three Feasts Hot Ones series when it comes to Marvel's anti-leak measures. I have my own thoughts and opinions on whether or not the lengths that Marvel goes in order to prevent stuff from the movie from leaking out is even necessary to begin with. But before we get into those opinions of mine, let's read what Zoe Saldana has to say, because after all, she is what brought up Marvel's secrecy measures here in the following statement. When you work for Marvel, it feels like a cult. Everybody's like, what's going on? I'm dressed in green after 4 hours in makeup. We must be shooting something. What is it? She laughs. That has advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are you savor the surprise for the end, and you don't ruin it, and the audience is able to have an amazing adventure when they go to the movies to watch it. The disadvantage is mainly for the actor because you don't know what you're getting, you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're saying, you don't know what's going to happen, and that can be a little nerve-wracking. Okay, so this is what Zoe Saldana said. Her words, not mine. I can see where she is coming from when she says that working for Marvel is equivalent to working in a cult, because the MCU is supposed to be this cult that tells their actors, the Force works in mysterious ways, but we're not actually going to tell you anything. But just trust us. Even if we are making you shoot some fake scenes and telling you what the scene is at the last moment. And as Zoe Saldana said, that is a little nerve-wracking. However, I think that is nothing more than a short-term problem for a much bigger long-term reward. Take Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, for instance. Do you think that Mark Hamill wasn't any bit agitated when he heard of the Darth Vader reveal at the last moment? Mark Hamill was probably annoyed at that. But you know what? He sucked it up and went through with the scene as Luke Skywalker anyway, and Darth Vader. And as a result of that, the scene wasn't leaked to paparazzi, which allowed him to do his, job, which was to successfully entertain the audience. Luke entertained the audience with his performance when he found out about Darth Vader. But I don't think it would have been nearly as impactful if that scene got leaked. So, again, they've performed their, craft, and they were able to reap the reward out of it. And I'm sure that everyone who attended the first showing of Empire Strikes Back on opening night cheered their asses off. It's not like I would know, because I wasn't born in the original Star Wars era. But if you take a look at the success of Empire Strikes Back and the infamous I am your father scene, going through the hassle of not being comprehensive of whatever scene you're shooting until the last moment, as an actor, pays off when you get to avail the movie with other fans and get to look at the smiles on their faces. So do I think that Marvel's anti-leak measures are unnecessary? Not at all. As I already mentioned, I shared you an example about Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Mark Hamill may have been annoyed at first, but it paid off in the end. And I think that the same holds true with Zoe Saldana. I think in time, and I know she's already done movies and she's saying all that, but I think when it comes to future movies down the road, I think she's going to get reminded that, okay, so I'm putting up a performance at the last moment, but then the audience will get to go in blind, and it's going to enhance the experience. So there are drawbacks to this. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think those drawbacks, such as, let me read again. Yeah, so being dressed in green after 4 hours in makeup, for Gamora. Yeah, I suppose that is a hurdle, but it's only a wipeable stain in a much victorious cartwheel. Let me know in the comments section below or our Twitter inbox at Cinema Courtroom what you think about Zoe Saldana's statement in regards to Marvel's secrecy measures. Do you perceive those anti-leak precautions as a necessity to begin with? Or maybe, who knows, you might, think of my thought process as dismissive of Zoe Saldana's feelings. Whatever it is, I would love to hear your intriguing thoughts on this matter. You can also watch Zoe Saldana perform in her latest movie, Avatar: The Way of Water, releasing on December 15th, available on IMAX and 3D in theaters worldwide.